Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to join us today. Thank you for joining us in this today's inaugural inaugural webinar about developing a business series. I am Adelaide, and I'll be hosting you for the next hour. So for the first few ground rules, this is an hour-long session. It will be divided into two 30-minute sessions. Each session will be hosted by two hosts, i.e. Linda Kay and Lucky. Should anyone, we as attendees, have questions during their talk, could we please post those questions into the text files, into the text chat, and then from there, after they're done presenting, we'll field over the questions over to the presenters. Thank you. And today's webinar is about writing a comprehensive business plan. And we have two formidable entrepreneurs here with us today from the SADC region. We've got Linda K. Sibanyoni and Lucky Ramonongo. Linda K. will start us off giving us a talk about her endeavors developing her own businesses, that is. And Lucky will come next, capping us off with how the processes that he went through while he was developing business plans for his businesses. First off, as I said, we'll start with Linda Kay. Linda Kay is a professional auditor, by profession, of course, and she also doubles up as an entrepreneur with interest in retail through her Amazon business, food security, and nurturing young entrepreneurs' spirit through Dream Hubs, and also as studying marketing and business consultancy through Trinity. Trinity is her advisory business, and it's providing accounting and business solutions to primarily startups and small and to medium enterprises. While in her Dream Hub and enterprise business, that is, she finds and nurtures young, not necessarily young, but emerging entrepreneurs that, because she believes that in this philosophy that ethical and skilled entrepreneurs will be the future for them. And of course, we as South Africans want to jump on board and say, hey, as SADC as well. So with that introduction, Linda Kay, could you please take it and give it? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Adelaide. Thank you for such a beautiful introduction. Thank you all for inviting me. And I hope Adelaide did share my profile, right? Did you share it with him?
Not yet, and I believe that we can share it later on after once it's got the emails. I think I can be able to do that. Okay,
that's fine. Well, I like solving problems. That's why I'm an entrepreneur. That's the long and short of it. I see problems and I want to solve them. And in solving problems, that's where you make your money, fortunately. And though I've got interest in some social enterprises that are more about impact in the community versus chasing profits, most of my businesses chase profits. How it all began is as a Black young entrepreneur, there's need to create generational wealth. Most of us are first-time entrepreneurs in our families, first Black, first this, first that. And the need to create financial stability is what has been one of those things that has drove me in my entrepreneurial journey. You invited me here to talk about, what do you call it, building a comprehensive business plan. I will shock you and I'll tell you that business plans, you need to throw them away. You need to throw those business plans away. Everyone will write a good business plan. No one writes a business plan that is a business that's going to plunge. Their idea is brilliant on paper. No one will write a business plan that will tell you, yeah, you know what, I'm not really sure about this. We will talk about those ideas in business plans as if they are solid, they're set, and as if the moment you step out with your idea, life is not going to hit you, or rather the market is not going to hit you. So if you've got a business plan, I will tell you, stop right now, stop writing that business plan. And I'll introduce you to something called a business model canvas. A business plan, this is my issue with business plans. Business plans, you talk about your mission, you talk about your vision, you talk about your goals, you talk about all the lovely things, your strategy of how you are going to implement this idea. Do we know how this idea is going to work? No, we don't. You even project financials. Do you really know you're going to make money in this business plan? And business plan for investors, they are so tedious. No one wants to go through a 30, 50 page business. No one has time. Real investors don't have time. They don't have time to go through those things. So I'll introduce you to something called a business plan. I'm saying business plan, business model canvas. It's a little tool that I found very powerful in building my ideas. Okay, can you all hear me? Adelaide, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Linda.
Okay, all right. So I'll introduce you to something quickly, and we'll just quickly run through something called a business model canvas. This little tool has helped me way better than formulating a business plan, and it's such a powerful little piece of a little piece of document that is so powerful. Investors, bankers, they find it easy to go through because it details your idea straight to the point. 1, 2, 3, this is what I want to do. These are my customers. This is how I'm creating value. This is how much it costs in such a brief way. And you add that to your concept note, you surely get funding. I think in my formative years of entrepreneurship, sometimes I lacked funding because I was sending 30, 40, 50 page business plans to people with no time. People, money, investors don't have time to go through those things. So the moment I discovered the business model canvas, I tell you, it's been one of those winning formulas in my life. So let me quickly share my screen here, and I'll quickly take you through the business model canvas. And I will share it with Adelaide for those that would want to take a further look at it after the session. So let me just share this. Right. Can everyone, Adelaide, help me? Are you seeing this screen? Thumbs up if you are.
We can see it. You might just want to make it full screen, but we see it. Thank you.
Okay. I don't know why now it's refusing for me to have it as a slideshow. Okay, let's do this one. Okay. Right. So business model canvas. A business model canvas.
Sorry, Linda, to interrupt you. I see the option is there now for you to click on just to make it a proper presentation view.
Okay, but can you see it right now?
Yes, we can, but it's not in presentation mode.
Okay, it's
so if you just click that icon you clicked earlier on when we tested.
Yeah.
It says from current slide.
Yes.
There we go. There we go. Yeah.
Where are we? There we go.
That's it.
Wonderful.
Good to go.
Okay. So business model canvas. A business model canvas is how a company creates value for itself whilst delivering products and services to its target audience. So this is what basically a business model canvas looks like. In your initial stages, when you prepare your first business model canvas, it might be a bit challenging, but I will tell you, as you get better and better at it, I can literally do a business model canvas in my sleep, so you get better and better at it. So a business model canvas, as it says, it's how a company creates value for itself whilst delivering products. First of all, let's start with the creating value components. Your creating value components are your key partners, your key activities, your key resources, and your cost structure. Your key partners are probably those companies that might help you, your what do you call it? could be your, I've just had a brain freeze there. It could be your supplier of goods. That could be a key partner. That could be your strategic partner. It could be your manufacturer of maybe your bottles if you're into bottling. It could be your what do you call it? Your clothing manufacturer. If for a t-shirt brand, for example, I'll use my t-shirt brand, for example, my key partners in my business for my t-shirts are my fabric manufacturers, my tailors, because I outsource all those things. So my key partners, they would be my tailor and my fabric manufacturers. The key activities now, these encompass the activities that you do to create value, to bring your product to life. So my key activities in this aspect of my t-shirt business would probably be the ensuring that my quality of the t-shirt that I want manufactured from the tailor and the quality of the fabric is up to standard. My key resources here for t-shirts would basically be my fabric, which is very important because without my fabric, there's no t-shirt. Cost structure, it's all the things that involve getting a t-shirt made. So the cost of manufacture, the tailor themselves, the cost of the fabric, if I'm buying my own fabric, the cost of printing as well. Those are the things that involve creating value. I think if we quickly go down, I think I did highlight some of the things in creating value, the key activities. What is the most important thing? These are some of the questions you ask yourself when you're building a business model canvas under key activities. What is the most important thing that you need to do in the business in order to make the business model work or deliver your value proposition? My value proposition being branded t-shirts. What are the activities that you need to become an expert at? Sometimes you need to go back to school and learn a certain skill, do a short course, if it's graphic design, if it's web development. There's some key activities that you need to become an expert at to create value for your business. Next, I'm sorry that I'm going through this quickly. It's because an hour, I've been here before, an hour flies by so quickly, but I'll share this with Adelaide so she can share it with all of you via email. Delivering value now. This is where, how do you get, when you've created value, how are you delivering value to your customers? What customer segments are they? What channels are you using? Customer segments. What are my customers? Who are my customers actually? Why should they buy from me? And remember, your customers do not exist to buy from you. You exist for them. So whenever you have an idea, do not think that no one else has got this idea or no one else is doing the same thing in the market. Someone else might actually be doing the same thing in the market and you just might not know. So nowadays, as entrepreneurs, we've got into the buzzword is we are creating experiences for people. That's what we're no longer selling product. So you come to my shop, I will smile at you. It's no longer just about picking a t-shirt up. It's about the experience. From the moment you enter my shop, how do I make you feel? You know, have I smiled at you? Have I offered you something to drink? It's now all about the experience because so many other people out there are making t-shirts, and my t-shirts are not the only thing that are not the only brand that people would like to wear. So these are the things that entrepreneurs have, the buzzword we're creating. It's now all about the experience, no longer about just selling product. So you have to know that you do not exist. Your customers are not there to just buy from you. You exist from them. So also another thing that you need to describe when you're building your business model canvas, do note that these processes that I'm taking you through, these are some things that are not in your business plan. You don't think about these things when you're drafting a business plan. You're not asking yourself, who are my customers? Why should they even buy from me? You're not asking. You've got your idea, but you're running around with a vision, with a mission, with your goal. you haven't developed that, you haven't refined the idea. So describe a customer persona. Who are you creating this value for? This product, this service. You need to imagine the customer that you're going to serve. And remember as well, you do not create businesses for your family. You do not create businesses for your friends. That's not your target market. If you are sitting down and you're thinking you need to create a business and your target market is your friend, your target market is your mother, you are going to be very disappointed, because those are the people that enjoy freebies, that enjoy discounts. So please do not create a business thinking your target market is your friend, is your aunt, is your mother. No. If you've got that idea, take it away. Go back to the drawing board and build another customer persona for your business. So that's it concerning the delivering value, your value proposition now. What exactly are you building? You've got this idea. Ideas are a dime a dozen, my friends. Ideas are plenty. So what are you building? For whom? When we come to value proposition, who are you creating this value for? What pain are you solving? What gain are you creating? Who are your customers? So value proposition, basically, I like to dummy down things. I like simple things. Value proposition is such a big word, but it's just a fancy word for your product or service. So what product, what service are you creating? That's what they mean by value proposition. So whilst you're building your business model canvas, I realize that all these questions are very important. These are some of the questions that when you receive a business plan, some of these questions, if an entrepreneur has not asked themselves these questions, you can actually tell that they were not even thinking about all these things when you take a look at a business plan. That has not been backed up by a business model canvas. So your business model canvas in the future, because sometimes investors and banks, especially banks, they're very set in their ways. So sometimes a bank will call you and say, no, we want a business plan. We don't want a business model canvas. But when you send your business plan backed up by a business model canvas, I will guarantee you are most likely to be in a better position to gain funding, because you are addressing almost all the questions, if not every question, a banker or a prospective funder will be asking you. So what are you building? And this helps also for your pitch deck as well. When you're pitching to these investors, 1-versus-1, this also helps you. So if you start off with your business model canvas, you have managed to kill so many birds with one stone, should I say. So now we go on to channels. You know, some of these things will need us like half a day to go through, but I'll just continue to quickly go through them, and definitely we'll send it through to Adelaide. So where to start? It's not about your idea or product. It's about satisfying a customer need, not just implementing your great idea. So you can have this fantastic idea, but no market. You get into the market and no one is buying. No one understands why we need your bottled water. What's so fancy about this bottled water? Yet I can get my bottled water for 5 rand, or am I buying yours for 15 or 20? Why? Bottled water is bottled water. So it's not about your great idea or product. You're trying to create value and deliver value as an entrepreneur, and it has to be profitable. You're not a non-profit. If you're a non-profit, great, wonderful. So it's about satisfying a customer need. What does the customer need? So you've created your bottled water, amazing. But does the customer need your fancy bottled water? Your flavored bottled water, do they need it? So these are some of the questions that you go through your business model canvas, you should be asking yourself. And it's about achieving a product market fit, where we produce something that customers really want as opposed to great ideas. That is when you will make money. You are in business to make money. So you create something your customers really want, or you, as I always like to go back to, you are solving a need. So when you solve a need, you will definitely be profitable in your endeavors, as opposed as to just implementing a great idea. So the channels, these are basically how do you deliver your value proposition? How does your product and service get to your customers? How do you communicate with your customers? How do you sell and distribute your product? These are all of these are key questions when you're building your business model canvas. Some of these questions I'll reiterate when you're building a business plan. They might not fully be articulated. You might not even have them at the back of your head, but if you keep these whilst you're building your business model canvas, you will truly build a solid business plan. Customer relations. How do I get my customers? How do I keep customers? How do I grow my customer base? And then each of them will then describe the type of relationships as a company. As a company, the type of relationships a company has with each of its customer segments. So this is important for you to differentiate your customer base, your customer segments. Do you have walk-in clients? Do you have online clients? Are your clients millennials? Are your clients Gen Zs? Are your clients boomers? All of these things are important when you're trying to create a product that will generate revenue for your company. So revenue streams, how do you make your money? Are you going to be selling a product? Is it the service? Is it ancillary things from the product? What value are your customers paying for? And what is the strategy that I'm going to use to get the customers to pay for the value? And each of the customer segments, it represents an income stream. So I think, yeah, we've gone through key activities. Have we gone through key activities? Yes, we have. Key resources. What do you need to make the business model work? You've got your great idea. What do you need to make it work? Financial resources, physical resources, intellectual resources, human resources. What do you need to keep these resources? It's also a question that you need to ask. And your key partners. Who are your key partners? Who are your suppliers? For some of the businesses that people establish, a key partner could be a bank. Sometimes banks, what do they call it? Sometimes banks will back up an idea contingent on certain investors coming on board. So these could be your key partners. Sometimes your key partners could be professional bodies like yours that, okay, I've established this mine, the Southern African Institute of Mining and Metallurgy have done this report for me, A, B, C, D, E, F. So some of the key partners are your industry mates in your mates in the industry, really. And what activities will they perform, when in order to help you deliver your value proposition? This sometimes is when your bank your bank tells your future investor that they will fund you contingent on A, B, C, D, or contingent on such an investor bringing in 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are the things that once you build your business model canvas, when you ask yourself these questions, these things become clearer and clearer. And if you're pitching your investor, it's clear not only to you, but your investor as well. Investors like clarity. Investors like confident people when you stand and pitch in front of them. And the clarity that you derive from a business model canvas, I tell you, it's way better than a business plan. Because in a business plan, you get lost in ideas. Yet a business model canvas is specific. It asks very specific questions that demand very clear and specific answers. And lastly, your costs. What are the entire costs of operating your business model? These are actual costs. These are not projections that you add to your business plan. Your 5-year profit of projections telling you that in year one, in month one, you'll be a millionaire. Those beautiful cash flow projections we like to slot into business plans. And yeah, I think yeah, and that's about it. Hey, in terms of business model canvas. Unfortunately, we can't really delve into it. I need to give Lucky some time. An hour is never enough, but I will tell you that one thing that I like to say is that entrepreneurship is not taught, it is experienced. So even in as much as you have tools to help you, you've got a business model canvas, you have got all these resources on the internet, you might have human resources through family, through school and all that stuff who can help you create a lovely business model canvas. But up until you launch your idea, there are some things that a business model canvas can never ever anticipate. So entrepreneurship is never taught, it is experienced. And once you do get hit in your entrepreneurship endeavors, the idea is to keep going, is to just keep getting up and keep going. And that's all from me. Thank you very much. Over to you, Adelaide.
So much, Linda Kay. That was enlightening. I wasn't aware there was such a thing as a business model canvas. Thank you. I think it's our next speaker is Lucky. Lucky is going to be taking us through what he went through when he was developing his own business plans. And although Linda Kay stated that, she would much rather prefer using a business canvas, she did mention that there are some instances where, especially like when you're applying for funding from major financial institutions, where they require a detailed business plan. And then if you happen to encounter that, Lucky has got you covered, I think. So to introduce Lucky a little bit, Lucky is a qualified mining engineer. After he graduated with his undergrad, he started working at De Beers, where he was part of the Anglo-American Young Enrichment Policy Tripartite team, for which he was awarded a CEO's award. After some while at De Beers, he left and went to work at a Spindrift mine. Somewhere in between that, he managed to start a few business ventures. One of those right now, three of those right now are L&T Private Tutoring, which provides private tutoring and is currently in partnership with a few mining houses right now, Glencore, Mirafa Venture and Anglo-American through the Kagiso Shaduga Trust. He is also founded Mulamudi Protection Services, a security company, and he's also a shareholder in Yeti Investments, which has different interests in different portfolios. Through that brief introduction, Lucky, could you please go ahead and take us through your experience?
Thanks, Adelaide, and afternoon, everyone. Am I audible enough, Adelaide?
Yes, you are.
Thank you. So thanks to Linda. I think she took us through the presentation very well, and she gave a lot of details in terms of how the business model canvas works. So I will be giving you the presentation based on the two. So I'm looking at a combination of the business model canvas as well as the business plan. How can we use the two and be able to get where we want as entrepreneurs? So first thing that I'll be looking at in this presentation will give you the introduction, business model canvas, detailed business plan, as well as the conclusion. So in terms of business plan, when you look at a business plan, that is simply a document that you use as an entrepreneur to describe the opportunities that you are looking at in terms of starting a new business or describing the business that is already started. So that when you look at the opportunities, then the business plan will require you to use the available strategies so that you can be able to convert the idea into the business project. So, you know, like she said, I like what Linda said, there's so many ideas that we can come up with, but for you to convert those ideas to a working business, it requires you to be so determined and so focused on what you're doing. It is very, very important that we execute the ideas that we have. So when you look at the combination of your canvas model and you look at the business plan, if you are able to combine the two very well, then we are saying that the business plan or the final document that you come up with, it must provide answers to simple questions about the new business or opportunity or the business that already exists. So that I, as an investor, when I look at your business as your on your document, then I should be able to get answers that even if you're not there, your document must speak for you. And then we can be able to take decision as to whether we can invest in this business or not. Then how can one describe this business plan or the business model canvas? This is simple, a business card, if we can look at it that way, because it must give information about your business. So when investors or banks, when they look at your business plan or your business model canvas, they must be able to find answers in a way that they can be able to take decision without you being there. So on this slide, this is just a good description in terms of the business model canvas. And I won't really dwell much on this slide because the previous speaker or my colleague Linda has already alluded very well on this business model canvas, how it works, and factors that one needs to look at. So I like to speak about the first one here, which talks about the key partners. You know, one of the failures or one of the factors that leads to us failing in business, it starts with the partners that we select when we start business. So when you select partners, or when you want to start a business, ask yourself, which partners am I going into business with? Because you find that if you are only engineers and you want a business model to work and you do not even have any financial knowledge in terms of how to run business, that becomes difficult in a way that if you're not willing to invest your time to learn how business work, then chances of you to fail are very high, because you will draft your business model in a way that your cash flow is positive, it looks good, and you even miss some of the important things in business. For example, taxation. It's very, very important that you look at laws in terms of how to comply with SARS. There are so many different types of taxes that you will pay. Of course, you've got your VAT, you've got your normal tax that is based on the profit that you make. So based on the scale of your business, then you should be able to understand those things. So for example, let's just maybe pause a little bit. If we are talking about, if I can give you an example of security business that I run, you know, myself as an engineer coming with mining background engineering, and if I just go into this kind of operation with my mining engineering background and I do not know anything about security, chances of me not making it are very high. Then it requires me to have a partner. Maybe that person has worked as a security person before or has acquired necessary skills needed for that business to operate. So you must be able to look at this very carefully and have right partners in terms of you executing your business. So when you go to your key activities, of course, that's where you will then give detailed plan or detailed information in terms of the activities that you will be doing in your business. So if you cannot describe your product, then you've got a serious problem. As a business person, they say if we are moving from a ground floor and we are going to the second floor, when you are inside the lift, given that small amount of time that you have, you should be able to explain your business in details to the next person, that the person can be able to understand your business and get a buy-in. You know, so it's very, very important that as a business person, be able to explain the product that you have or the product that you intend to produce or the service that you intend to give to people. The key resources. So what are these resources that you need? And I think she spoke very well about this, where you've got your human resources, and you also need to look at things that you need, your capital, your assets. What is it that you need? If you're going to manufacturing, do Do you have a manufacturing plant? Are you planning to have one, or are you planning to outsource that kind of service? Very, very important that you look at that and be able to show your key resources as they are. Because for every business to be successful, you need these key resources to be in place, and so on and so on. So I'm not gonna waste most of time on the business model canvas. I think she explained it very well in a way that now I want to give you synergy between the two, because you would be requested by some of your investors, depending on the age group. Some people are not informed about the business model canvas. They might ask, give me your business plan. But how do you then interlink the two, not missing key information that we find from the model canvas, and also incorporate that in your business plan so that you can be able to meet the need of the investor? Remember, I as the investor, I will tell you what I need, and you have to give me what I need. If you cannot give me that, then you will just stay with your idea or with the business not growing, because you need financial assistance and you're not getting that. So also something that we need to understand is, when you look at the model canvas, it doesn't only allow you to develop a model that will explain your business for the investor or somebody giving you a loan to look at, but you as an entrepreneur, you might find yourself in a position whereby you've got enough funds to be able to execute the plan and make it a working business. So that as well gives you an idea or a summary of things that you need to look at for you to be able to be a successful entrepreneur. So the next slide. So I looked at detailed business plan, and I will as well repeat some of the things to show you how you can be able to link what is detailed in the canvas model and as well as the business plan. So first thing, you need to analyze the present situation. So in terms of you analyzing the present situation, if you are saying you're going into farming or property, do you have knowledge about that sector? Very, very important that when you give a document to someone, you need to buy the confidence of that person to continue reading by giving a detailed information based on the research that you've done. So first thing, what sector, what is the sector like? What is the present situation of the sector and the future outlook? So you need to be able to unpack those. What is it that you are seeing in that particular sector? For example, you look at the car industry. If now you want to open a shop where you will be selling cars whatsoever, you know, if you want to open that garage, then you ask yourself, how is the market doing now? So many cars are being repossessed now. You ask yourself, is it a good idea that you open this? So it's very important that you describe the sector that you are going to. So you must be able to understand the competition that you are going to. For example, if you want to develop a phone or smartphone now, then the question is, are you going to meet the demands of people? I mean, you've got your Samsung, you've got Huawei already doing it in the market. So you need to understand the competition where you are going to. Very, very important that you analyze that so that you do not invest money and find yourself doing or developing a product and at the end the product is not selling because you did not analyze the competition. You need to understand where or the market that you are entering. So you also have to understand in what way is our business different from the business of our competition. How do they differ? Why should you create this business? So you need to be able to do those. So identify your weakness, your threats, and your opportunities. So those are normal things that we know every business plan will have, but it's just a matter of showing that do you understand the sector that you're going to, and the main factors that determine the success of the business. You need to be able to understand those. For example, innovation. If you want to start a business and you don't want to keep up with pace in terms of innovation, you will be knocked off very easy. So you need to be flexible in a way that you innovate. For example, if you're talking about marketing and you do not have a Twitter account, you do not have LinkedIn, you don't have Facebook, you don't have Instagram. So how are people going to know about your product? So you need to be innovative and be able to move with time. So your target market for the business, very, very important that you know whom you are developing the product for, or whom are you giving the service to. So for example, if you want to sell Toyotas and you bring these these cars to an area where you've got a lot of youth, youngsters, and you expect them to buy that, definitely you'll be missing it. Maybe you have to change your idea and say, okay, let me have a franchise of VW or have a franchise of BMW, because your target group in that particular area will want to buy that. So you need to know whom you're developing the product to or whom you're bringing the service for. Next slide, business objectives. So in this one, you need to explain in details the objectives of your business. Where do you want to see your business? Because, for example, if I want to invest in a business, as much as, you know, some of these things are not applicable if you're not looking for investment. For example, if I'm starting a business and I've got money, I know, okay, I need to see my business in future. I cannot just start a business that I do not want to see it alive in future. So, but if you're building it if you're building a business plan so that you can be able to get investment, the person putting the money want to see that is this business still going to be alive. So you need to be able to give a well-detailed information in terms of where your business is going and how the business will keep on growing. So second one is, what does my business consist of? So this is where now you bring the link between the business plan and the business canvas model in a way that now you can tell your investor or whoever wants to put money in a business that I've got certain skills in my business. So these are the skills that I've got this person who qualified in this field, and this person has worked in this particular department for a certain number of years. So in terms of risk, we have got less risk of failing because we've got a person with expertise. So you are explaining to your investor so that you can get that person buying into your idea. So what strategy am I going to follow in order to maintain competitive advantage through time, specialization, differentiation, or cost? This is very, very important, because if you look at the example of, let's say, you look at McDonald's, you look at Wimpy. So when you develop a business, you need to understand your target group. So which strategy are you going to use for you to be able to get customers? And by this, for example, time is a very, very important factor. If you're putting a restaurant on a way, maybe that miners or people going to the mines use that particular road, then you know these people are forever late. So they are not going to come and wait for 20 minutes for you to give them order of your food. So you need to develop a business strategy in a way that you know this person will stop for 3 minutes and then the food is ready, or you'll be giving this person the service and the person will leave you. So in a way that you are bringing time as one of the factors or strategy to attract your people so that you can service people at less time. And also specialization. You need to know the product that you specialize in. I mean, in L&T Private Tutoring, we started this business in 2015 with only 2 schools, if I can say. But now we are operating in 4 provinces, which is in Northern Cape, Mpumalanga, and Northwest. So we've got so many schools now, and we did not lose focus in terms of the area of specialization. When we started, we say we specialize in math and science. And even today, we are doing math and science because we specialize in that service. But then, if we took services like geography, life science at early stages of business, chances of us failing were going to be high, because when learners fail in that subject because you're not giving quality service, then you are now going to lose your customers. But myself as an engineer and fellow directors, Jack and Tabo, who are engineers as well, we are able to supervise and see if we are going to the right direction based on the service that we said we specialize on. And we are well known now to say these are the guys who do math and science. So it's very, very important that you know what you want to specialize in and be able to adhere on that as you go on. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So strategic plan, how do I want to do it? So when you are having that concept in your mind and you want to develop a working business model, working business idea, you need to ask yourself, how am I going to do it? So you need to answer those questions. Okay, for example, if I can speak about the long-term goals. So you need to be able to see as an entrepreneur to say, okay, I can see I'm starting here this year, but what is going to happen in the next 3 years, 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years? How are you going to do it? And for example, if you want to open a big business like mining company, where now you'll be starting from the initial state, and then you move to the steady state where you are now starting to increase your production, but you also want to see what is going to happen in the next 3 to 5 years. And people will come to invest just based on what they are seeing in terms of the production of projection and reasonable assumptions that you make in terms of cost estimation and using real figures based on the market, what the market is doing. For example, you look at the rate at which banks are borrowing money now. It's not the same as it used to be last year, but due to pandemic, then we need to factor in things like that. And I can say most cases, when we develop plans, we were not taking into account situations like these. But now, having the experience or having walked this journey, we can be able to adjust our plans and be able to bring in the real values. So a canvas model that you develop, a business plan that you develop, it's a working document that is not final. When you do it today, you can change it as you go on based on how things are changing in the market. So you need to look at that number of employees that you need in management policies. So that goes back to your HR that comes out on your canvas model. So that's where you can be able to link the two and say, this is the strategic number of the strategic policies that we'll be having, number of employees. For example, when I started the tutoring company, we were only 2 tutors in that particular time, but now we employ over 80 employees in the business, and they are all spread across different provinces. So how do you then manage those people? But then if you develop a business and you do not look at these policies that will help you to govern as you grow in business, then you will have a serious problem, because when you get there, you need to stop maybe focusing on the development of the business and try to develop these. The question is time on your side or not? So you look at those kind of factors. So going to the next slide, the financial plan. This is very, very important that you analyze or go into details in terms of giving information which is required. Because why are you starting the business? The simple answer is you want to make profit. So if it's not making profit, why do I start it? You rather simple just invest your money in the bank, or maybe just show your money if you want to. So the question is, why are you investing in that business? You want to make profit, and make sure that what you are starting will make profit. So first thing, you need to look at your income and your expenditure projections. So in this one, of course, you need to identify your customers and be able to calculate your sales, and as well project the cost of sales as you continue building the business, and be able to see how your cost of sales or your expenditures are compared to your income. Will you start to make profit or not? And when you develop this, if you're looking at your 3-year plan, ideally you want to do your 5-year plan so that you can give a clear picture to someone who wants to buy into your idea. So when you develop this, you need to break it into monthly basis so that we can be able to see details in terms of what we need to expect on monthly basis as you continue operating in the business. Then when you go to your year 3, year 4, then you can as well maybe do your projections based on monthly projections, not on yearly projections, because you have already given the details of the first phase of the project. So investment budget. So application of financial resources to be used to increase the fixed or financial assets in exchange of expectation of obtaining future profits. So you need to look at the investment budget, whether as you grow or when you upscale your production, do you still have financial muscles for you to be able to do that? So if you have got investors giving you that assurance, say this is the money that we can be able to use to buy fixed assets or key assets of the business, to upscale the business based on its performance, then you know that your business will stand for a long time. So depreciation schedule. I can give you a very simple example. I'll also make another example using myself. In security company, you need to use your vehicles to supervise your operation. So if you have a vehicle which is worth 200,000 this year, and you intend to be in business for a long time, you must know for sure that your assets are going to depreciate. And if you do not take that into account as you build your business model, or when you are working on your canvas model, you are going to experience a challenge in future, in a way that you will have a vehicle which is no longer working because it's either now is dirt or it has been overused. But then if you did not take into account that you need to create a depreciation fund so that you can be able to replace that particular asset when you no longer have value in that asset, or you can no longer use that asset, so that you keep your business alive. But if you design a business for this year or for this month, and you do not look at what is going to happen 3 months to come, you are going to have a serious problem. So we need to wake up, act like educated people. We understand that our asset will depreciate, and we have to take that into consideration. So as I finish, your profit and loss account, so you need to look at your sales, your variable cost, fixed cost, and be able to determine whether you're making profit or loss. But depending as well, you need to take into account your taxes that you be paying, and then you can be able to determine whether the business is feasible to invest in or not. Your balance sheet should as well be analyzed at a particular point where you analyze the net worth of the business. Is the business the total assets less the total liabilities? What is the net worth of the business? Can that business still allow you to borrow money and be able to continue? So in conclusion, I would want to say that for us to determine, or investors to determine whether they'll invest in your business or not, they will be interested to see, especially if you are talking about a long-term business, you're not building a business for today. Want to see your net present value, whether the business is making sense or not. So you take all your cash flows and then you discount them, and then you bring them to the present terms and be able to check whether you're making money or not. So if your net present value is positive, then yes, you can go on, because it tells you that in this business you can make more money than investing in the bank. But if it's less than zero, then you know that this is not the kind of business I can take. So rather invest in the banks or whatsoever. So in conclusion, a well-written business plan or business model canvas will help you to understand your business and be able to grow. So it's not a matter of you getting loans or investors, but you also need to understand your business, because this is your baby and you need to make sure that it works. You have started it because you want it to be successful. A business plan is a passport to success, to access your finance. So go to the bank today, go to investors today and ask them, I need money. They'll say, bring a document that shows a plan of your business so that we can be able to see whether it's doable or not. So that's where I'm saying, mix your business canvas model. I agree on that, Linda. And it's very important that we take details from the canvas model and bring it here in a way that you give details to investors or on a document that they want. But if they say bring your canvas model, you also put knowledge to how to execute that. So take enough time to analyze the market in order to acquire in-depth understanding of challenges associated with the market. Very, very crucial, so that you do not find yourself in a position whereby you'll be regretting in a way that I should have invested this money in this and not this. Financial education is very important. Like I said, you need to be able to read your income statement. You need to be able to read your management account, because that gives an indication as to whether your business is healthy or not. Are you going to make profit or not? Your management account is very important, that you should be able to read it. So without that financial education, we will be building a traditional kind of business where you are only interested in what went out and what you're left with. Maybe you don't even want to comply with SARS whatsoever. So I will stop it there, and thanks a lot. I believe that you are going to use the information and be able to choose what you need, so that you can be able to get assistance in the industry. And if there's any question you have, feel free to drop an email or contact me. You can look at our website. You will have access to all our details. Thank you.